I think it's just the aggressiveness, like the intent and the pressure that he's putting on each hitter, every at bat, just with his relentless attack of the strike zone. And I think that's the type of guy he can be. And then I think all the other good things beyond that come after, being in the zone early.
Tyler Wells gets the ball today. He allowed some early runs against the Angels on his first start, but then it was a complete shutdown after that as far as runs were concerned. Where do you see Tyler right now? Yeah,
he's got 5 pitches he can throw in the zone at any time. We feel really good about where he's at and how far he's come since he got to camp. So, I think the thing we're looking for today is just our ability to make adjustments as we need to a little bit quicker than we did against LA.
You have a closer. Very few of them are out there in the history of the game who have 400-plus saves. When he gets the ball in the 9th inning, what gives you comfort in knowing that it's Craig Kimbrell protecting a close game?
Yeah, he's just one of the most consistent movers that we have. He's one of the most consistent mental, just approach day in and day out type of guys. And, with a guy that's going to have the ball with a three-run lead or less, that type of consistency is what breeds confidence in Hyder and myself and the coaching staff.
Now, you've been here, you were hired in the offseason, but you go through a full spring training with the team. You have a lot of pitchers to get to know, both personally and what they do well and what they don't do well. Tell me about that acclimation process.
Yeah, I think you just have to think small. You want to build Rome in one day, but this whole thing is going to come to fruition after probably multiple years. So I just took the approach that I was going to think small and put relationships before everything. And it's going to take a while to learn these guys in and out. They've got to have good outings. They have to have bad outings for you to kind of see how they respond to things. But I just, my core values and my beliefs are we're going to develop these really, really tight, good relationships, and we can have honest conversations after that. And so I think that sort of that foundation is kind of, the way that we look to move forward.
Now, as a coach, is it Drew French's pitching philosophy, or is it your job to adapt to what your pitchers do well or do not do well?
Yeah, I think the philosophy, or at least, the foundation of my philosophy is built on things that aren't, necessarily ingrained in the attack plan for every specific day, for every specific guy. Every individual philosophy is going to be, kind of a blueprint for each individual. But we want to know that, this whole thing is built around us believing in ourselves and us having confidence to do certain things that might be uncomfortable, and then all the other kind of nuanced things beyond that are on an individual basis.
The team's strikeout to walk ratio off the charts through 7 games. What do you attribute that to?
Well, we have really good pitchers, and then the pitching group, the guys that in our circle, Ryan, Mitch, and Grant. Our philosophy and what we believe in and what we know to be true is that getting ahead in the count really works. So we're going to stay on message for 162 games with being able to attack hitters and get to 0-1 and get to 2 strikes as fast as we can, and then we have a chance to finish guys. And so that's the exciting thing for our pitchers, is getting themselves to the dance, and then now we get an opportunity to finish at bats, and that's what we feast on.
You've been a pitching coach for a long time, but being in this role, the pitching coach, means you have one of the most interesting jobs in baseball. You come out in a tough situation and talk to your pitcher during an inning. Put me in that moment. Brett Hollander is struggling on the mound. It's a leverage spot. The tying run is on third base, and a big-time hitter is stepping up to the plate. What is Drew French saying to his pitcher?
Yeah, it depends on the guy. It depends on his temperament. Sometimes it might not be necessarily baseball-related. It might be a little bit more delivery-related, or it might be just a recalibration, the opportunity to give them a little bit of a timeout. So that's part of, knowing your guy and knowing what they need in those types of moments. And certainly we're going to fail. We're going to go out there. We're going to say some things that probably don't necessarily resonate for that pitcher then and there. But we're going to have an honest conversation, and my job is just to be who I need to be when I need to be that guy for our players at the right time. So ultimately it all comes back to still ground zero, which is knowing our guy and building that relationship. But everybody's going to be a little bit different. Every situation, every environment, every stadium is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to act accordingly, but we're going to probably screw some things up before we get them all right.
Well, I think it's probably the same way. in my dreams of becoming a broadcaster in baseball, I thought about calling the big home run. I'm sure you have put yourself in that moment of big speech time on the mound, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think I was watching the movie about the 1960s or 70s USA hockey team the other day, and you start to have those types of vibes. But quite honestly, I thought about a lot of these things for a lot of the off season, and laid up at night awake, just, hey, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to handle that? But honestly, you get to the dugout and you start to really feel the situation and the environment and our players, and it becomes pretty organic after that.